Boom, boom, ba-bam. Yay, live. No one put a like for us this time. Like
I know.
all the time there was a like somewhere. Like there was a like. One like up front. Okay. Yeah. Anyway.
I need to go and put a like myself.
It's a little bit cheating, but sure.
Oh, I got one more theme. I will add it. So if we have something.
Yeah, we're still not on the recording, so I need to add also a smoker topic. And then tons about UI. Yeah, let's actually 1 minute. I will prepare topics. Oh, I see you adding. While you do this, I will add from the previous things. And smoker. Okay, we've done. Okay, let's start recording in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but this is really wrong. Something really wrong with our live show. We have 1 viewer and 0 likes. This is unbelievable. But as usually, welcome to the Non-Intuitive Bits podcast that started in such a depressing way, brought to you by the Leaders Club that you are parts to if you're listening to us. But do consider elevating your club membership by joining Discord channel. And today in this virtual studio we have Dmitry Mananikov. Say hi to everyone.
Hi everyone.
And as usual, the most annoying voice is from me, and my name is Slava Kavlevsky. I almost was trying not to laugh, thinking in my head, 2 old dudes speaking to one guy and calling themselves Leaders Club.
I know, like, I'm not very surprised people don't watch live. I never watch show live. I usually watch them after in recording or listen to them and like listen in a 1.5 speed.
Makes sense. But actually, I think I know what have happened. I have not moved the starting point for 10 minutes later. So usually we have at least 5 people watching right from the get-go, and maybe they actually started. Because 2 things have happened. We have a huge pause in our shows. And there was a live stream schedule that I never moved. So it was always like, starting minus 7 days ago. So I guess maybe the people start listening for the 10 minutes, realize that nothing happening and thought that this is exactly how last time. Then,
Maybe we need to move time and just like be always there. So it's more consistent.
Maybe, but to be fair, it looks like this time is kind of might be working.
That's true.
For quite some time we managed to make it work, so I don't know. Let's give it a shot for several more tries.
For me, it's a good cut for work day, because on Friday I tend to like work until late evening because no one is there. Like it's very quiet. I don't need to go anywhere like tomorrow, like early morning, so I can continue working.
Exactly same thing. It's a nice stopping point, because after the podcast usually thinking, okay, maybe like is this really important? If yes, okay, I will just work a little bit on Saturday. It doesn't have to be finished today, and that's about it. Also, that's why I'm drinking during the podcast. Otherwise I might go back to work after.
No chances to get back to work.
Yes, exactly. Looking at the topic. So we have quite a few interesting topics, and you added several in the beginning. So let's start with you, my friend. What is Helix Editor?
Actually, I'm not sure we want to discuss. Helix Editor is just a new... The idea here, like people created Helix Editor because they were using Vim, and then they decided, okay, what would happen if we just, we don't need to implement Vim, we just need to create a new type of modular editor, like with different modes, and make it good from the beginning. How we can change it, how it should work, how it can get best from Vim, but like leave alone bad things. It's very promising. I really like idea how it works. Compared to Vim, it's slightly different because in Vim, you either have like normal mode where you navigate things, you have insert mode where you type things, and then you have a visual mode, which like where you select like things. But Helix merge normal and visual mode. So essentially, every time you move cursor, it also select text. And this is actually a pattern I use in Vim as well. Like I usually don't just delete something. I often like select something and then delete. And they try to build it. So idea is really cool. The editor itself like really fast, really responsive, and works well. It has a lot of built-in things, but it's still not yet ready to be used like for work environment because it doesn't support plugins yet. They still like figuring out like what to do, what language to use for plugins, how they should integrate. Right now, I would say it's like really good CLI replacement for Nana or Vim on the terminal if you don't use many of them. But that's it. I'm still looking forward when they implement plugins. But until then, it's not really super useful for me. People still use it like for like it support a language server protocol. So you can actually like edit languages. You'll have like types, like linters, like all kind of usual things.
Makes sense. And out of curiosity, they have this first item on the list of why you should use it. Multiple selections, multiple cursors as a coordinate.
To be honest, this is also like very questionable for me. I never needed in my life multiple cursors. Like maybe like I need it like twice, but I was like confused why would you need multiple cursors?
Okay, so I will not hear explanation why it's needed. I thought
I've seen people use them in VS Code and IDEA, you know, like when they have like two places to edit code, they put cursors and start typing. And it kind of makes sense in IDEA because there's no way to do it else. But for example, in Vim, I usually record macros and say, okay, just run this macros on lines I want. That's it.
You know, it's like feels like multiple cursor selection. It's like a guy who made the millions in investing. It exists. It's always one handshake away from you, and it's kind of real, but you never actually met one.
Apparently, people like this feature. Apparently, there are people who want this feature and like this feature. So I can't really say it's useless.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There are people who made fortune on investment on the side hustle. You know, it's a real thing, but it's always one handshake away from me at least.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's Helix. I'm not sure I'm going to try it, but honestly, my biggest problem right now, I just moved to VS Code. That's my biggest problem. I used to use Vim and I gave up, moved to VS Code. There is so many places that enforcing VS Code specifically, and at this point, yeah, just gave up. Okay, what about PlayStation Portal? Did you actually had one? Have you got your hands? So tell me.
So PlayStation Portal is an interesting device. It looks like a portable handheld console for games, but it's actually not. Essentially just how it's called, like scene terminal to your PlayStation. It only contains screen, battery, and like a gamepad around it, but there is no like computational power. It can't really run games. It can't even run browser or anything. So it's only useful if you have PlayStation 5. And you can play games over network. So far, I only played at home. I plan to test it outside. It should be possible. I found it really nice. It could sound strange, like when you have PlayStation 5 at home, why do you need like portable, smaller device to play the same? But it actually works well for me because sometimes I want like a short break from a work, like to play at desk, or I can play before sleep. And I had a Steam Deck for that, but it never worked for me because with the Steam Deck, I had essentially two consoles, right? Like Steam Deck and PlayStation 5. And if I play a game on one, I won't play it on another one, which is kind of weird. But now I can just continue where I stopped. Even like I can play on my PlayStation, like on a big one, put on pause, and then like a few hours later, like pull a PS Portal and just continue from the same moment. I think it's really good concept. It's nice. Again, it's still, I need to check how it works outside. People had experience, like they were able to play remotely, like through mobile network. Obviously, it's not all games. You probably can't play shooter, but like something simpler should be fine.
I have the same problem with Switch. So I have a Switch OLED, and yes, the game is different. You started one game. I don't want to switch context for completely another game on the Switch, and I end up playing either or. I either spending time with the Switch, finishing the game, or them spending time with Xbox. But this is not as interesting because when you have opportunity to play the real game on the big screen, you're playing Switch on the big screen. It's really weird.
What's interesting, I was using Steam Deck as a remote console because Steam Deck has application which allows you to do the same, to stream from PS5. But Steam Deck itself has like lower quality screen. It's not as good as a PlayStation Portal because PlayStation Portal is full HD, and Steam Deck has like 700 something points. And plus PlayStation Portal has much better ergonomics to play.
Interesting. Can I use PlayStation Portal with the Xbox? Because it's always Xbox.
And to add to this weirdness, you can't even use Bluetooth headphones with PlayStation Portal. This is like really annoying with PlayStation ecosystem, but you only can use their headsets and headphones because they use a bit of modified Bluetooth stack to reduce latency, which sounds like a bullshit for me.
Oh, I know why. Because you're thinking about the Portal as a remote screen more and handheld device. But I think in Sony, from engineering, they thought about Portal as a joystick. This is probably the joystick and hardware of the joystick plus screen. That's why it doesn't have things like Bluetooth.
The same issue with the PlayStation 5. You can't attach like random Bluetooth headphones to PlayStation 5.
Oh, really?
And they justify it as like, we want you to have best experience and regular Bluetooth is not really fast enough. That's why all PlayStation 5 headsets, they use dongle. They like put USB dongle. It's not like Bluetooth.
Interesting. Okay, and looks like there is no Xbox Portal for Xbox. But anyway, I'm closer and closer to just give up on Xbox. It's sad, but it is what it is. And honestly, I have so many dreams when Microsoft started buying game studios left and right. And maybe I just need to wait.
They started to close it.
Yes, just killing my favorite games one by one. Yeah.
Can you just exchange it, like someone looking for a switch from PlayStation to Xbox?
Yeah, do you know such people?
No.
Exactly, yes. Maybe. To be fair, it's not the bad console. It's really good console, but it's a small things around. PS, more and more in my mind, PS is like Apple. It just works. It just works. Xbox, similar. But there are some small things like this, Portal or not for you and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we have two more warm-up topics before going to the main part. First, eFoil. What? Oh, I think I know what this is, but tell me more.
Yeah, I just learned recently this concept, like this device. So essentially, foiling is I can't really say it's sport, but it's a design of wakeboard with this fin under the water. And the idea, people not eFoil, but just like regular foils, they use it with the wings, and they were able to do pretty much what people do with the surfing, but you a bit fly on top of water. Like fin stays underwater, but board goes on top of water. And I never tried, but for people who try and do it often, what I learned is very interesting feeling, because now you don't have this bumps on water on waves, so it's very smooth and it feels really nice, like you're flying. And next step on this is to put battery and motor inside it. So now you can use it without wings. You don't need a special weather. You can just go on the water and essentially ride it. And it looks really awesome. I really want to try now and maybe even to buy it. They're pretty costly right now. So it's I need to try it a few times before I make this commitment. But it's, for me, it's like put it in the same category as sports as like windsurfing, snowboarding, where you don't really need to do routine stuff like paddling or whatever. You can just enjoy like a speed and movements.
Interesting. I'm trying to get to the price tag, and then I need to click to get some of this stuff to get to the price tag. So looks like this is the, whoa, 12K.
Yeah, I found like there are like some smaller like 6 and 7K, but they still like too expensive. But that's interesting, right? Like the current development on batteries and like from EV industry now like spills over like new devices like this one.
Yeah, that's indeed interesting. Anyway, if you will purchase, I might ask you to give me for a try.
You should just go somewhere to try.
Yep, 100%. Man, this looks interesting. Looking forward for hearing your experience.
Okay.
Okay, last thing from the warm-up topics of the stuff that I want to buy but have not yet bought is a smoker grill. I now have a completely updated backyard, and one of the things that I always wanted to do, I always wanted to have a smoker. So now I have a space, and I start reading about this, and as usual with everything else, there is holy wars going on about which type of the smoker you have to have. Turns out there is at least 4 different types. The worst one that, you know, people on Reddit, owners of such type of the smoker, people on Reddit would not be considering a human beings, is electric smoker. That's like the lowest level.
Wait, isn't smoker supposed to have smoke? But if you have electric, how do you get smoke?
Oh, so the way how it doing it's effectively you put the pellets and then usually water or something, and then it evaporates water and heats the pellets, and then effectively pellets either start smoking, or depending on the way they set up and how it works, or it might just ignite pellets with a heating element, so to speak. The second from the bottom is a gas one. So using gas to heat the water, water is supposed to evaporate, and using pellets as well. And the best one that been considering among the society is pellets. Sorry, not the best. There is a type of smoker that has name set and forget, where you don't have to invest too much time. So electric, gas, and the pellets are all 3 that set and forget type of the smoker. And the last one is pellets. This is the best out of set and forget, so to speak. But you actually have the real fire. You need to start it. You need to periodically look into it. I'm not entirely sure how it maintains the exact temperature. I guess it's probably through the amount of air and oxygen that it allows to get in. You can maintain the exact temperature that you need.
Okay, why do you want this over like regular grill?
Oh, for if you want to do smoking, like if you want to do smoking for, and majority of the smokers, they actually embedded with a normal grill. So, and I'm actually thinking to even replace my grill with something that has smoker on the side. But there is different reasons. Like if you will replace your grill with a pellet smoker, now for the grilling, you have to use pellets. And for the grilling, I really like simplicity. You have a gas, you do grill. For the smoking, that might take the whole day. I would love something that gives a little bit more taste and flavor, so to speak. And everyone's saying that pellet smoker actually meaningfully different from any other smokers. And there is obviously the highest levels, like wood smoker, but you need to maintain the burning level yourself. It's the most complex one.
I mean, you already committed for 1 day of watching over it.
Yes, you have to literally watch over it. Yes, and the pellets is the best from both worlds. It's really good taste-wise, and looks like it's set it and forget it, with a caveat that you need to replace pellets and things like that periodically. I don't know. I'm still deciding. I'm still reading tons of the reviews and still thinking which one I
think instead you should go to different places who have smokers and try a meat or fish, whatever, smoked on the pellets or on wood. and then you can make a proper decision.
Oh, okay. So don't get me wrong. I'm not going to go with wood. It's like too hard for me. So the question for me, when I want to go with gas or with pellets, and I actually have no idea where you can purchase in restaurant food that was smoked with gas or electric, because they would not be considering this a proper food or dish. So, and that is the biggest caveat.
Makes sense. I mean, like for me, like gas and electricity doesn't make sense. I mean, if you're getting smoker, not a grill, like I would assume you go with wood, but pellets also should be fine.
True. The main question is how you generate the heat, so to speak. You can generate the gas to generate the heat to then use pellets to produce smoke. And in fact, I'm doing.
I saw the whole point is like smoke itself, right? Like smoke from burning wood, essentially carbon with a smell, like that very recognizable like smell of burning wood. No.
True, but I, for example, was doing it on you can do it in a cheap way with just grill. So on my grill, I would take the foil, I would put inside a wood pellet, and I just literally put it with dish. And at some point, it will start producing smoke. The key is to adjust temperature in the way that it will not start burning. It will just start producing smoke. And then you can even do the cheap version of smoking. And I really like it because dish already, the meat tastes much better with even small amount of smoking. But apparently it is much better if instead of gas plus pellets, you're actually using pellets directly somehow. I actually don't know how this process works, because in my mind, you need something that will heat them, because you cannot start burning them directly because they will burn. So this means that should be external source of heat that will heat them to the right temperature, and they will start producing smoke. Honestly, I have no clue how this works. But
what about utility? I mean, in a grill, you can cook all kind of dishes, right? You can cook meat, you can cook vegetable, you can make different zones like open fire or just to heat. Does smoker allow like more utility, or are you only interested in meat?
I think it allows literally everything, because it's produced particular temperature inside for a long time. And with that effect, you probably can cook anything you want inside. You might have to be creative, sure. So that part I don't know. But exactly for the question that you're asking, they now producing these weird things that I just showing on the screen, which is grill plus smoker. But again, the biggest downside, as I mentioned, you're moving all in on the pellets now, and that's the thing that I'm not sure I'm ready to do.
I see.
Okay, I will definitely share what I have found when I will execute on it. Meanwhile, let's move to AI topics. I promise that I will be talking about AI for a lot today, which I'm kind of prepared to do, because Dima knows I just finished my work, I don't know, 20 minutes ago, so I'm still wrapping my head and trying to switch contexts, so I might forget some of the stuff that I wanted to share, but I will do my best. And let me start with a question. Have you watched the OpenAI event?
No, I only watched like their new voice assistant. I was so excited, open mobile app and it's not there. So it was only marketing. That's the only part I've seen.
Okay, that makes sense. But then tell me, do you know one of the reasons why it's still not in your pocket?
No.
Okay.
Is it like Scarlett Johansson
yes.
voice or something? Wait, but do they have like more voices?
They do, but obviously what have happened, the main voice was Sky, and Sky was a voice of Scarlett Johansson, and turns out that they reached out to Scarlett Johansson and they asked her permission to use her voice, and she said no. And after that, they still proceed with using it because it's OpenAI.
I think it was weird story. Like they used someone else, but they still asked Scarlett Johansson like 2 days before releasing, because like the story was really shady, like everything with Sam Altman. But again, I don't understand why they didn't release without this voice. Because apparently, I think they told that they won't use this voice anymore.
True, I would agree with you. I guess is, as with anything, you're trying to rush the production. And I always get the feeling that while they producing reasonable quality software, still rush to production. I'm subscribed to Outage's notification for their API, and I don't remember a day when I would not get an email. Oh, we have a problem with that request, this type of request. So it's constantly under fire. So I get a guess that, they getting to good enough releasing, and what this might mean, and I'm just speculating, that Sky type of the voice was hard-coded in 200 places, and when they started to removing it, they realized that they need several more weeks to do it.
What else they released? I've seen they released memory, at least now when I type something in ChatGPT, sometimes it says, hey, memory is updated.
So for me, one of the things that they have released is underlying new model GPT-4.0 Omni. But so while it might not feel like a big deal, it is actually a true multimodal model. Before, they have actually a set of models that can communicate with each other. This is a true model that is trained from ground up. That's why people time to time surprised, because 4.0 actually might perform worse or better in different tasks, because under the hood it's literally a different model that was a big deal to train and get it very close to GPT-4. And the way how you can see it immediately, if you're using different models, it's almost impossible to have a real-time processing of voice and video. What I mean by that, when you're talking to the app, you have to finish talking, and then it will send everything to process and send you back a result. If you're applying transformers in real time, you can do what they introduced, such as interruption, where the model will hear dynamically what you're speaking, and much faster response, because model listening to you live and can respond almost immediately when you finish speaking. But
it feels like it. Again, I don't know the economics, but it feels like it's very money consuming. I mean, resource consuming. You feed your voice. Probably they do some voice to text generation on the go, but still.
Oh, that's the whole idea of 4.0. 4.0 actually can get different tokens dynamically of entity like sound. You don't have to
pour sound right.
Exactly, yes. You embed it somehow and then put in the model live, and it just understand it live. Like that was a big deal of 4.0. I don't know if they did the same with video. If they do, it's amazing. But theoretically, you can live feed there. Sure, you need to do embeddings, which somewhat consuming, but you're completely losing this step of translate to text, which will require you to listen the full sentence first, because the quality of speech to text higher when you have the full text already in front of you instead of chunks. Now, one of the things of economics that you mentioned, and again, I'm going to speculate right now, but theoretically, this is the same as with, for example, gaming industry. When the gaming sells you a GPU that actually costs more in the beginning, but less in the end of the life cycle of the game console. If you have the model that's good enough, you can survive for some time with the hardware that costs you a fortune, get the user base, because soon enough, this hardware will be much cheaper. But the user base will keep paying you afterwards.
That's only if you doesn't have competition, right? Because you still need to advance right now in this world. I mean, ChatGPT probably most advanced so far.
So I agree with you about the advancing part, but the idea is that this advancing at some point will reach the point of saturation, where you have a good enough or price, or it will get somewhere. And on that moment, when you will start optimizing your costs, the question will be who has the biggest user base. And after that, sure, for the foreseeable future, you're probably right. I would guess you're absolutely right. And I don't know when this point of saturation will be. I don't think anyone knows. Yeah, it is what it is. Okay.
Random question.
Go for it.
Because did you try Anthropic Claude AI?
Yes, I did. I have used it for some time. I have not feel that it's substantially better than any of the big players, other big players. I was not sure why I need third one. I have subscription on Gemini and I have GPT-4.
I see.
What about you?
No, I haven't tried. I wanted to try just to see like if it's on par with OpenAI, maybe switch to it to see how it performs.
It's a little bit behind. Just a good example of they don't have analog of GPTs. I don't think they have. I don't think they introduced. I might be wrong because
I don't use GPTs apparently. I mean, I have a bunch of them. I created few, but I find myself like never use them.
Oh, interesting. So then let me ask you this. Do you have any prompts that you periodically using and you're storing somewhere that you utilize?
Yes, I just type them. Again, I'm not very effective on this part.
I see.
I think it's not really about GPTs. It's the way they present it in UI. In UI, you should like make multiple clicks to find GPT you need. I would rather have something like, like quick command, find me GPT, and then type right away. That would be much better.
Oh, okay. So the way how, let me share how I utilizing them. Because if you create GPT, it will have a unique link to a start of conversation. So then I have 5 tabs.
Bookmarks.
Yeah. I like have 5 main one, and I have default that by default starting on my any default conversation, and several specialized one. And effectively, this is just a collection of prompts, if you want. That's different pre-prompts.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I just like never have like task where I really need them. Like sometimes I need and I go to particular one, but like rarely. I usually just like tune UX a bit so it's like more accessible, Something like you typing a prompt, like, or you typing like your question and suggest, hey, do you want to ask like not default, but one of these, something like this.
Technically, they have introduced tagging. So you now in your chat can tag. So in a default open conversation, you can start with @ and then tag GPT.
But then I need to remember tag.
Yeah.
OpenAI can hire me. I will be their UI designer and make it better.
If you're listening to us, anyone from OpenAI, reach us. Okay, so let's proceed to another big event that have happened actually, and this big event is obviously Google I.O. That was also a huge event in AI industry. I don't know if you have noticed how close OpenAI made their event. It was day before Google I.O.
Did they announce after Google announce?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure yes. I'm very sure yes. I like 99. It's obviously open information. Someone can check, but 99% I'm sure yes. Because everyone was mocking Altman, who said in the past that, we don't care about competitions. And suddenly, yes. It cannot be a coincidence. Okay, so what actually Google have announced? One thing that particularly interesting to me, it might be there is no particular additional insight that I can obviously share or know even, but there was an interesting partnership announced about Google bringing to the market the latest and greatest GB200. And this is a brand new NVIDIA chip that NVIDIA have announced recently. Blackwell. To be fair, I don't know what to add here, except that I'm looking forward, because for me personally, I looking forward overall in the future where the first GPU card that will be released will be able to host Llama 3 70 billions in memory of one card. That will be the future.
But they don't now?
Oh, no, you cannot. You
need like a bunch of memory.
Yep, you have to do model distribution for 70 billions or quantization.
Wait, how much memory do you need for 70 billions? Like float? I guess float 2 bytes.
I don't know actually. Probably for 7 billions without quantization, you might need 4 or 5 H100. But I don't know. So
But is it because computational part or just because they don't put enough memory?
Oh, memory, just memory. Yeah.
So technically they could like get like existing architecture, right, and just add more like huge amount of memory to it.
But maybe I'm trying to recall what was the problem with the memory and why they did it this way. I don't recall what is the so GPU memory is somewhat different because usual memory is a little bit slow. I trying to recall why and how they were overcoming this, and honestly I don't remember. But yes, you're absolutely right. Theoretically, they can do just more memory, and I'm pretty sure it's one point they will do more memory. It's just probably cost tons of money.
Yeah, but like if you need multiple GPUs just because you need enough memory, then maybe just making the same GPU but just with bigger chunk of memory would save you from it.
It will. The another thing that I want to mention, you probably hit the nail on the head, so to speak. You asked the right question, and I probably provided only partial answers. So right now, the bottleneck is memory. And I'm pretty sure that if you will add more memory, your model will be really slow because computationally it still doesn't make any sense. You still can fit only so much matrices and vectors inside of the shared memory or on GPU to actually do computation. So you will still wait for a long time for the model to finish. So maybe, this is again just me guessing, maybe they're trying to force you to separate the model by limiting amount of memory, because if they will just provide you more memory, you will have a horrible user experience, because sure, you can feed the model, but computation wise it's still going to be a little bit slower now because you have so much data on the memory that you cannot muscle through. Just guess, probably. Because you have layers, you have a memory, but then you have shared memory, then you have memory that's in the registers. So you have, and that is where the actual computation happens. And that memory is extremely costly. I'm pretty sure they have a ratio in between each of the layers that they need to maintain to have it more or less usable.
It seems like memory, like Apple did in M chips, right? Like they like make unified memory for CPU, GPU, make it closer. Like I feel like sooner they just like make one big cube, like a crystal, with all memory being like bunch of like huge amount of registers very close to computations or something.
Yeah,
I guess like people who actually know how to build processors like will laugh at me with these ideas.
This is actually a very good point, because there is an interesting fundamental conflict between two conflicting priorities here. So one is, if you're building CPU, generalized CPU is supposed to be optimized for the processes that are sequential, because not everything is parallelizable. Your operating system by default have many things that are sequential. And for that, you need higher speed. And in order to have higher speed, you need to have a higher space for your CPU, but you will be wasting it for different things that you're optimizing for speed.
Okay.
Now, for the high parallel computing, where you have what is called same program, different data, or same instruction, different data, you actually can sacrifice speed for the sake of more parallel threads. But you cannot have both. You cannot sacrifice size and space on your chip for the sake of speed and also for the sake of increasing kernels. That's why if you look on the Intel and if you look on the NVIDIA that using the same nanometer processes, you literally pick the older generation of NVIDIA or whatever, you will get the very similar size of the chip, but very different amount of kernels. And then not because NVIDIA doesn't care about the speed or Intel doesn't care about the amount of kernels, they're literally optimizing for completely different things. And that's why you actually see the thought in my head. I have no idea how Apple doing so, because theoretically you cannot be both. You cannot have both unless you will separate physically and build two chips. One is tons of the kernels for the sake of the software that can be concurrent by nature, and another one for sequential processing, because sequential need to have as high gigahertz and speed overall as theoretically possible.
A bit related question, maybe you know, because I'm curious. So Intel architecture like x86 right? It was famous for a huge amount of different operations, like basic operations, not just like sum, multiply, but they have like huge amount of very special operations. That's why they have to port them over and over again to keep them working, compared to oh god, I forgot what is M1 chip.
ARM.
ARM. Compared with ARM, where it's like much like less like basic instructions. Right, and Intel did it for reasons. Like before, they did like optimizing like standard task of operation systems, like where they used. So I assume people who make chips right now for AI, they try to optimize. But NVIDIA still seems like a bit generic. Does anyone create a chips optimized specifically for LLMs with transformers, where like the whole like every core in it like have like one or two operations, like run something, like run computation on transformer, run back propagation, that's it?
I'm trying to recall. I don't think the first that come. There are several chips that come to mind, but honestly, forward prop and back prop, it's a multiplication of matrices. That's really what it is. And there are different ways of structuring that in terms of the hardware. One is, I forgot that principle, so gate of someone, and this principle is effectively says that you can connect computationally units with each other on the physical level. So then imagine that you have 4 or 5 layers, and you can do multiplication one after another, and this one after another will not happen because you're offloading and onloading in memory something. You can physically connect at several chunks of kernels, and one literally will take output of previous one and do the compute. Mm-hmm. So this is what TPU is doing. If you look on the TPU, using architecture of, I forgot the name, it's I forgot the name of the architecture. It's architecture. System architecture. So maybe I will be able to quickly figure out. But it's has the famous architecture, which is usually exists on the Wikipedia. But I will find it. Doesn't matter. So it has a name. The downside here that you have a physical representation of the part of your neural network in hardware. So you can speed up things that are mapping this type really, really well. And the most crucial part, this is why TPU requires XLA. In order for you to map this on the hardware, you need to know your neural network up front. So what this means that in many cases, researchers that really like to experiment. And they want to say, okay, let me send this something. They changing the variable. They sending another something.
That wouldn't work, right?
Correct. Yes, you will have to invoke compilation on each step. So theoretically, it might slow down because it will have recompile everything and it lose dynamicity. But make it more interactive, and this is where CUDA come into play. They trying to make more interactive, but obviously they probably will be slower in some of the cases. Probably. But it's like comparing oranges to apples. They have a different architecture, and the same trade-off. What you're saying is we'll face the same trade-off. You are optimizing for transformers, but you're losing for convolutional neural networks, and then something like.
Imagine like in some future, like we maxed out LLMs, and we have like a state-of-art LLMs that's good for everyone, and everyone like it. So companies that use can optimize it by like creating. Imagine like one huge chip, which contains the whole LLM. It can do only one thing, like you put inputs, but every year they need to build new chips because they need to update model.
You know, this is very funny. So two startups. I think it's Cerberus AI. And Cerberus AI used to be proud of having the biggest chip for the AI, so you can put as big neural network on the chip directly as possible. I don't know what they're doing, honestly, and I don't know how successful they are. But one of the whole idea of value prop that they would be giving, that they're just a huge chip, physically. You see, they even have chip size as a main comparison. NVIDIA H100.
While like Intel and NVIDIA try to compete on like who makes smaller one, they made a big one.
This is exactly what I wanted to say. If you want to make it bigger, just reduce several steps to several steps, the nanometer processes, and here you go. You will have the big chip. Yes, that's. But nevertheless, the value prop is there. And then there is another. Unfortunately, I will not be able to find them quickly. I forgot the name, but there is another very interesting startup that trying to optimize it from different things. So imagine you have tons of the QPS for your LLM, like a lot of QPS. So what they ask themselves, okay, what if we will not even aim for the market where you need a one accelerator? Like that's not our market. So now what you can do, you can, for example, forget about the need of implementing a lot of the memory. You can actually implement much smaller amount of memory on your accelerator, but you will demand that people who are using it will use more accelerators. And actually, they claim, I don't know if it's verifiable or not, probably someone verified, and I don't remember the name, but they claiming their results that per dollar, you will have much cheaper cost of running LLM with their product, even though you have to buy way more of those that they're selling to you. But again, per dollar, it will be cheaper because they're much faster in the end. When you're buying tons of them with the same cost, they're much faster. But yes, you have to buy more. I honestly don't remember who they are. AI accelerator, speed, small memory. Let's see if these requests to Google will show it. Who are they? But no. Unfortunately, I cannot find them. Yeah, they were famous some time ago. Oh, Grok, of course, Grok. Yes, that's the one. Found it.
Wait, is it like a Twitter thing? Or it's different Grok?
Different Grok, yes.
Okay.
So these are the folks that specifically optimized for inference. Okay, they even have example here. Oh, you need to log in. Why Grok? Let me try to find the hardware to showcase what I mean. Grok Plus, Enterprise Access. Jesus. I wanted to find you the specification of the product because you will see how small amount of memory they do have on one GPU. It's really, really, really small comparing to anything. It's like a matter of 1 gigabyte, maybe 2 or something like that. But anyway, yeah, Grok. Go and check it out, folks. They're doing an amazing job. Okay. Moving on. We have the event from Google I.O. that we started. Oh yeah, GB200. That's where we started, of course. There were several interesting announcements. One is, and this is where the whole industry is moving, Project Astra. So Project Astra was a demo. Just a demo. You cannot try it, you cannot do anything with it, and obviously I have no idea will it and how it will get to production, what's happening with Astra. But for me, this is exactly where everything is moving, and looks like the humanity will already have realized it because we have Rabbit I.O, we have Humanity Pin, we have so many devices. But feels like we will be in the future when you have an AI is with you, it's personal to you, and that's AI looking everywhere, hearing everything that you're hearing, looking on everything that you're looking, and then you can be asking additional question to the AI about your day. So in this demo, there was many cool things, like where the lady or the guy, I don't know who is working there, I think it was a lady, working with the phone. Phone is looking on everything around, listening to everything around, and then she can ask questions like, oh, can you remind me where I put my glasses? And we're like, oh, the glasses were on the table right there, because they remember everything.
It's like external memory.
Yes, but imagine that you have your Gemini multi-model that just constantly working. constantly. It see everything. So you can, another example where they were showing, they were pointing on the screen of the coworker and asking, what do you see here? And what's, it's encryption logic. Oh, there is a bug there. Just go and fix it. Here is a bug. So this is literally as your LLM that constantly watching and listening. And while obviously it's going to be really hard to sell at first to people, but honestly, there is no way back. And humanity and Rabbit AI, they all showed that, yes, this is what people need, and eventually we'll get there. This is just a demo.
Did they show like Rabbit AI, what people need? Oh,
I actually have a device. Haven't I told?
Yeah, but how often do you use?
Oh, I haven't used it at all. Yeah, I haven't used it. It's a questionable device, by the way. If you folks don't know what Rabbit, I think Rabbit R1. This is a box with LLM on the cloud, and this box kind of can look and can see, can hear, and that's probably it.
I think the biggest issue here, like everyone understands, like having such helper, like would be nice, but the biggest problem is just form factor. Like people try to like glasses, like these pins, everything, like. We need someone like Apple to, like create a product that would lightweight, unobstructive, like work well, and it feels like it's more like engineering side rather than like a LLM side.
I would agree with you. I don't see the reason why this shouldn't be on your watches in the future. Like local LLM that has camera, microphone, that constantly working, and this is just next generation of the watches. That's about it.
I remember it was like in a Black Mirror. Do you remember someone used person copy as an assistant?
Yep. Slightly tangential, and we're reaching to the end anyway. And I was on the interesting event on the Techstars. This is effectively one of the Y Combinator type of the events where you have a startups, and then they presenting a demo day and tons of the investors signing checks. It was extremely interesting to meet all the investors, to meet the startups, to just be exposed to this part of the not the world, but ecosystem, so to speak. And I learned about several startups, and two of those, actually one was especially interesting. I think it was, I forgot the name, it doesn't matter, but the idea that they effectively building a connectors to your software, Slack, Gmail, anything you want, and they creating your digital copy. But they're not trying to replace you completely, at least not yet. What they're trying to do, in one place, summarize all the tasks that you have to do. And then when you have, let's say, 2 hours, they will show you, okay, you have 10 creative tasks to do. You need to write design doc, you need to respond to email. For this lowest priority 3 tasks, we think we know how would you respond. And then you can review suggestion. We're like, okay, message this to that person. You're clicking yes or no. That's it. If yes, it will go and answer, or no, it will not. Each time it will learn. But the idea that it only will try you to help if it's certain that it can help you in the way that you would do it with a low priority task, so you can quickly muscle through them, or even decide to do it later because it's already pre-created, the suggestions already pre-created, and you can focus only on the most important that requires you and creative you to be there. And as longer you're using it, the more it learns about you, and the more it starts to be certain that it can do other tasks the way you do it. When I was watching the demo, I wasn't able to not to think about that Black Mirror episode, because they literally creating digital you. That's the whole idea.
But what like in demos they show how it solves tasks? Like, they already have something?
Yeah, they actually have the product. They even have some small set of customers, and for now they focusing on a very small subset of use cases. So it can, for example, answer in the Slack. questions like yes, no, or yes, I'm free, or the stupid question in a sense. Let's connect. Like sure, and the question, or what do you want?
Like,
here is my calendar. Go in.
Two bots just have a conversation without people, and they decided like to stop conversation or something.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
This is the best part for introverts, right? Like you don't need to talk to people anymore. Your AI can talk. Like people should market it like this. You don't need to talk to people anymore.
Okay.
With the help of AI.
So
do you remember it was a Google like year or two ago? It was like a long time ago where they made this. You can use your phone, so it will call restaurant.
Oh yes,
restaurant for you, so you don't need to speak to people.
Yes, that was Google. Yes, I don't remember the name, but yes, that was them. Yes. They actually released it to, I don't know, to everyone or to limited set, but at some point they released it to the Google Home, and this ability to call the restaurant. I don't know what happened to that feature. Maybe it's still around. I don't know.
Or on the Google graveyard.
So imagine this dystopian future. You have LLM on one side, LLM on another side. One LLM talks to another LLM. And then because something did not went through as expected, the company will be hiring a person to go and listen to both LLM talking to figure out why it happened one or another, and then fix LLM or fix something. I'm pretty sure that will be the future profession, AI behavior analysis or something like that.
I just see future when companies that still have support from shitty support move to AI shitty support, and you never can get to any human to figure your problem. And if your problem is not solvable because it's like weird and AI don't have enough, how to say, imagination to solve it, like you stuck. Like currently with this, like you go to website with the help and there's like limited preset of problems and you can do anything.
Recently, I write to support of Nanolive. I wrote to support of Nanolive Lightbulb. They replied to me within 1 day, and they actually promising to reply within a business day. They asked me some follow-up questions. Oh, what do you have? I answered to them, and nothing for like 4 days now. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, we're almost done. So let me mention one small things. If you have used GPTs, you now might be delighted to learn that Gemini have gems, and Gemini gems is effectively analog. Trying to find. Oh, I misspelled it. Yeah, so Gemini gems is effectively analog of GPTs, custom GPTs. They have not yet released it to the public. You cannot play with it. Can you? I don't think you can right now. I'm pretty sure you cannot yet. But nevertheless, they show it. It's pretty much the same concept. You are creating your pre-prompt, you're giving some personality, and that's your gem, and you can use it later on. There was Flash, but we're already out of time and probably can cover it next time. That's probably all that was from Google I.O. Have you heard anything else about Google I.O? Maybe something that caught your attention?
No, I haven't. I don't really follow them.
Makes sense. Any other topics you want to bring up, or we will end here?
No, I think we're good for today.
Okay.
Next week.
And today I finally have both recording, main and the secondary one, so we are safe. Thank you, folks, for stopping by. Have an amazing weekend and a week, and we will see you and talk to you same place, same time in a week. Bye-bye.
Hope we'll be there next week, same time. Yeah, let's aim to that.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye, everyone.
See you. Okay, just let me switch off live. Thank you, folks, for everyone who watched us. 12 people.